You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Hey folks, welcome to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game. I'm Carlos.
And I'm Wayne.
And it's Thursday night, live call-in show night. We got a function going on here at House Cabrera, so you might hear some noise in the background. It doesn't matter because that's how we game. We are today celebrating my son Caleb's first birthday today. Is his birthday. So we had a little function at the house. We had some cake, some candy, some toys. It's good times here at House Cabrera. But now it's time to get into some gaming stuff, which is a little crazy. We'll run down the attendees or lack of. I think Mike's at a wedding. Dan's with family. Rob's, I think, hunting up in Georgia somewhere. And Wayne, thank you for showing up today.
Yeah, no problem. Appreciate it. It's
I was prepared to go solo, but Wayne's like, "Hey, man, I can be there."
Yeah, it's all good. I was planning on kind of taking it easy because just personal. I have a mom that's kind of sick. Took a fall like a week before the hurricane. Broke a foot. They found some problems with her lungs, so she's in a rehab facility. And of course, TMI. I don't care really, but the hospital discharges her the day before the hurricane. So like all the rehab facilities were taking evacuees. So it was like we had limited choices. So she's like 30, 40 minutes for me. So I got to drive there twice a day to, help out. And so I was a little tired, but happy to join in and talk a little bit and get my mind off of that stuff anyway. So
yeah, even if we run as long as the folks will allow us. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the phone lines. 813-618-7099 is the number. Phone lines are going to be open here in a second. Once I can figure this phone out. And we'll take your calls, and we'll go as long as you want to go, folks. If you guys are calling and you're keeping the chat going in the chat and or on the call, we will keep this going. 813-618-7099 is the number. Phone line's open. All right, topics that we have. I wanted to talk a little bit about my Radlands order. A few months ago, I pre-ordered a copy of the new Radlands expansion. Let me present my screen for those of you that are watching the live video of the show. Radlands is a two-player only card game, almost like a CCG/TCG, like a Magic the Gathering style battling game, but it's a lane battler where you play back and forth against each other, where you're trying to damage each other's camps. You have 3 camps, 1, 2, and 3 on your side, and you can put up to 2 cards in front of each camp to protect them. When you attack, you choose to attack one of those camps. If that camp has cards in front of it, those cards would take the damage first unless your card has special abilities, which is what this game is all about, Wayne. It's all about those special abilities that you have on those cards and those camps that break the rules of the game. That's what makes the TCG fun, right? Not the standard rule set, but how each card breaks the rules. So I was super excited about getting this thing ordered. It was shown off at Gen Con. Like, it was everywhere. People were picking up copies of it. Streamers were starting to show it. And then I ordered mine and got my email earlier in October, saying that the October release day was going to be delayed. So now they're talking about late November for retail, and we should be getting our copies in November of this awesome Radland set. What it does is it replaces some of the camps that weren't good, that weren't being used, and then adds more camps. So you're going to get a bunch more camps added to the game, and also some additional cards, especially replacing some of the cards that were in the game that they either errated or changed based on power ranking. And what's cool is the best part, it all fits back in the box. Like, their number one goal was whatever comes in this kit, in this Radlands expansion, whether it's the standard linen finish paper cards or the synth, as they call it, the plastic cards, it's all going to fit back in the box.
When you have the special like deluxe edition, so that works. But like, and I know I inherited your like plain copy,
the linen finish ones,
but that wouldn't fit because that barely fits in the box to begin with. Anyway.
Yeah, it was a tight box, but it really is only, I think, 40 something cards that get added. So I would imagine there's no way to put sleeved cards in that box. That's what bothered me about the linen finish boxes.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because it's really only adding, I think, 26 camps and then errating stuff. Now, because of the delay, they're telling me that I should be getting a promo pack. So like alternate artwork cards.
Okay.
So I guess I'm okay with that. I've got plenty of other
That's
stuff
kinda
to play
cool.
between
They
now
kinda
and
have
then.
that up their sleeve. So all right, this is delayed, but we can give you a little something for it.
Which works out well.
Yeah, I mean that's. I think if it's going to be delayed and they can do something to kind of make it more palatable, then it is what it is. I mean,
Yeah, 32 new camps. That's it. Just 32 new camps, and then 10 rebalanced replacement cards. So you're looking at 42 cards total.
That's cool. Yeah, I've done enough Kickstarters to know that everything's going to be delayed, and very few actually do anything to like, oops, sorry, So that's kind of nice that they're doing that. And I know you like the game, so bonus, you get some.
And the tough part is getting that game to the table, though, because it being a CCG style, TCG style, you really benefit from multiple plays. Once you see what's in the deck and how things combo, like teaching a new gamer, like you're always destroying them.
Times they play it, yeah.
Now, there are ways to handicap it.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing for me is the online play now, Wayne. There's organizations on Discord, groups on Discord, where they all play by webcam. They just take a webcam top down on your desk. Your deck is your deck, so you don't share a deck, and you just draw cards, play on your board, manipulate, tell them how much damage you're sending his way. The other player will manipulate and then send damage back your way.
I'm surprised there's no, like, it's kind of hard. I guess you can't have like an in-store organized gameplay because there's really it's not like Magic where you have new cards or new decks or you can do promos as prizes because the game's kind of complete, right? So there's no like organized play.
Yeah, that's why I think that online community grew out of, and there's a couple of tournaments that are being run, and even the game publisher, which is Roxley. Roxley publishes this game. Yeah. The game publisher has also provided them support for their tournaments, and they provided like early copies of the expansion. And I think even the guy who runs that channel and those tournaments got to be one of the playtesters for all the new cards, so was involved in the playtesting of it. So it's really surprising to find out. I found out earlier this year what a big community was still going on around the Radlands game. So like people like in depth loving this game. Chester says, haven't played it, but sounds kind of sounds like interrupts in Magic. And I don't recall there being a lot of interrupts as much. It's more of I'm going to do my thing, which is just a couple of actions. And because at the end of the day, you're going to take actions based on water. So how much water you have. And this being a post-apocalyptic game, you have 3 water tokens. That's pretty much it. So usually you're only buying one card, or you're taking actions spending water. You're only getting to do a couple of things each round at most.
And you basically spend those 3 water, and then it resets every round.
Yes, you get to refresh your water. You can play the water silo card, which allows you, so if you have extra water, you can put it in the silo, which allows you to save it for another round. So in another round, you can play the silo card and use that water.
It was pretty well, 8.9. It's pretty good rating, Well, that's for the expansion at least.
Yeah, that's the expansion. Let's see what the Radlands.
Expansion's not even out yet. How's that rated 8.9? Come on.
Well, 7.8 for the game. Where are we at with rankings? Let's see. 11,000 ratings.
181st game overall, 141.
That's pretty good.
That's really good.
That's actually
top 200 basically.
There's a lot of games that would want to be in that top 200 of BGG.
Right, yeah.
But we both have to admit it's the glamour of the game.
It is a very cool looking game. Yeah.
It's the production quality of the game that really hooks you in.
Even the peon version you gave me, the generic version you gave me, it's nicely done. It's a nice box. It's the cards are good. It's Roxley, so they always do a really good job with their production.
It's just finding that other person that's hooked into it. That's the tough part. So I'm throwing it out there. Who else is hooked into Radlands? I know I am. I know I have it. I've taught it to friends. My buddy Mike, we went camping for the 24-hour race. I took it with me, and he played with me. I taught him there. I destroyed him every time we played. See what I'm saying? Like that's the tough part. You got to find somebody who's willing to learn the game.
There's a lot of those two-player battles. Even like the Star Wars game. Like if someone that knows the game, they kind of know the strategy. They're just going to keep. You have to play it a bunch to get it. To get good at it.
Get good, Wayne. Get good.
Get gooder. Yeah.
Any gaming in this last week? I know we talked last time, and it was struggle bus for getting games going. Did you get anything going?
I mean, the month of October, I played 2 games. Although I played Crokinole and I played Clask.
And that's because of the new board.
Yeah, I got the new Mayday board. Mine's in good shape. I know that there's some people that had some problems with their boards, but I think they're making 10,000 at a clip. So there's going to be some that are wrong, and so far I've heard that if you got a board that was kind of messed up, that they're already replacing it or they're going to replace it. But mine's good. It's flat. The center hole is good. I waxed it down, used the thing, played it. I've played 3 or 4 games of it with my kid and my brother, and then busted out Clask because So really, just October was obviously, hence going back and forth twice a day to rehab facility, working, applying for promotion, a bunch of other life stuff. Just gaming was not a big thing. So October was the probably single worst month of gaming I've had in like 3 years, which is good. I mean, hey, most people say I played 2 games and I played 3 or 4 of 3 or 4 times each of those 2 games. That's that's not horrible. But to say that's my worst month of gaming in 3 years is pretty damn good. Given everything that happened, I'm okay with that. So
we have our October plays, and I've got updates to the board that I need to do. But we do it the first week of the month. This is it, right? This is the first week of the month. But with Rob gone and with Mike gone, I figured we'd hold off to another episode. And I remember your October was lacking last time we talked.
So my update, I'll do my update. I don't have any new games to my list, although I like Crokinole and Clask. I don't know if they make my top 20 of the year, but I will.
I've been chasing down a copy of Clask, and I'm not sure. I haven't really chased it down hard enough to pay its full price. I'm kind of like hoping I see it somewhere cheap.
Sale prices.
I just don't know if it's something that is worth the space it takes.
It is for me in that I like those dexterity games because I have like a shuffleboard thing, and I've got the giant Jenga, and I've got the cornhole set. So I've got like these things, and now I've brought Clask to a barbecue where it was a bunch of kids from my kid's soccer team, and I set up Clask, and that was a hit because they're all soccer players and they're playing like Clask.
Right, I think of it as a foosball table, like a mini foosball table.
It's kind of like a mini foosball. So it's like table tennis, foosball, soccer-y thing. So they were loving it, and so I play with my kid regularly. So for me, it's a good event. Like I've gotten, I think $35-40 from Target back in the day. I've probably played it 100 or more times, easy, So it's made its worth for me, and like I can bring that with me to like any party because it's very light and travelable,
Does it? How does it pack up?
Oh, it just slides right back into the box. Like
you don't need to disassemble it.
Nope, you can't. It's fully assembled out the box.
Okay,
it's a little like the box is probably like yay. It's whatever, and it's light, right?
For those listening to the show, yay is a hand movement.
Yeah, yay was a hand movement. That's right. I forgot you do this as a. I always forget sometimes you do this as just
that it's a podcast.
Podcast too, but yeah, I mean it's like 3 feet by 8 inches by like a foot and a half. And the box has a handle on it, so it just slides right back in the box, and you got the handle. And it's really light, so it's very portable. So like,
which I'm afraid to take the Crokinole board anywhere. Like we got my son's birthday party this weekend, and I'm like, I can bring the Crokinole board. Oh, maybe not. That's a little more fragile.
And what's crazy? So Nick and Mr. G's, Kyle, and myself. So 3 people on, me on the show, and the 2 people that are friends of the show that are on. We all bought the Elite board from Mayday, which is like 3 or 4 pounds heavier than the boards you have. and it's freaking heavy. It came with a carry case. I'm like, I don't want to carry this. This thing is
Is it
heavy.
natural hardwood? Is that why?
It's no, yeah, it was, or it's still the veneer, right?
Uh
But
huh.
it's like thicker, more dense wood that they use, I guess, as the base, and it's pretty freaking solid. I'm looking forward in the next whatever time if we get a game night in, I'll bring my new board over and we can compare your kind of
Because
OG
I would take
Mayday.
I've taken my boards to game days. I've taken my
Yeah,
boards to even Dice Tower. I've taken my
right.
boards to Dice Tower to play. I bought two specifically so that one can stay home and one can travel and kind of get beat up, like
Right.
whatever. I'm gonna kind of sacrifice one for the portability. I'm glad to hear that Class seems to be like something is going to be a lot easier to carry around because
Yes.
you can't collapse the
You can't
Chrono
collapse.
board
Yeah.
down.
No, Classic is I would buy it because it is way more portable and it's fast and Crocodile games can last a little while. So if you bring it to a party, one game of Crocodile can last 30, 40 minutes,
And
maybe,
it's
right?
and it's hard to explain. Like you just can't pick up and go.
It's really easy, but it's really hard to explain. I get it, yeah. But Classic is a game that a match should last 10 to 15 minutes max. Because you're scoring.
That's why I
pretty
keep
quick.
keeping an eye out for it.
Yeah.
And another dexterity game that I was considering taking because it's an outside party. The boy's birthday party. His birthday's today on Thursday. We're
Right.
gonna do over at the Carrollwood Village. They got that beautiful park over
It's
there.
a massively cool park.
We've done so many birthday parties there
They have
with
they have
the kids.
the parkour course.
Hmm. Yeah, the dog park, the parkour course, the skateboard course with the bowls and the ramps.
Yep.
The ping pong tables out there.
Yep.
They got chess tables, all like built-in steel, so that it's all like survivable. The water play area for the kids. It's a beautiful park, y'all.
I love it. Yeah.
I want to take some kind of dexterity game. I was thinking crokinole and or tumbling dice, but my worry with tumbling dice outside is losing dice.
Well,
Like someone's bound to flick that off.
When's the party?
Sunday.
It-
So Sunday, I'm gonna go up there. I think around noonish. We're gonna be out
Right,
there
but-
with the family.
Saturday morning. It's like, hey, great audio for everyone listening to the show.
We're talking dexterity games and
Yeah.
portability.
And portability,
It's big.
so Saturday I'm going to be driving. I'll drive by your house Saturday morning, to go to my mom to see her. I can let you borrow my.
I won't say no to that.
Giant
I
Jenga?
I won't say no to that
Okay, I'll drop it off.
because at the end of the day, I got some board gaming friends that have kids,
Yeah.
young kids, because it's a 1-year-old birthday party. So like William and Patrick, and we're gonna want to do something other than stare at the kids. So some kind of party
Yeah, but
style outdoor
I
game.
have the it's like Jenga, but with like giant 2x4 pieces.
Yeah,
So you have like the giant, yeah. So I
and
can
even
do
the
giant-
older kids love that stuff.
Yeah. So
I've got a Cube. That's another outdoor party game.
Yep.
I don't know if you ever played
Or-
Cube,
You ever play bocce ball? Bocce.
the Italian style
I
bowling game.
I have a set of that too.
Yeah, but I got like washers, so I'm gonna bring washers with me. It's like a box with a picture a box cut in half, so 2 box tops, and then inside is a PVC pipe, which is like a little pipe circle cylinder. And the goal is to go almost like cornhole, but you're throwing washers
Right.
into them. So these are some of the types of things that I'm bringing out to this kind of an outdoor style party.
Yeah.
So that would fit right in. That'd be beautiful. Thank you.
I'll drop off bocce ball and giant Jenga to you. You can borrow 'em.
So that's the kind of fun that we have. The dexterity games work great for parties, but I worry about some of them and their components at an outdoor function. Horseshoes, says Chester. Yes, except for you need a good like distance for horseshoes, like
Yeah.
because the regulation like distance, and then there's always the errant horseshoe, which is not safe. Period.
Well, and like just Chester, the park that he's going to is a county park. I don't think they would want you to hammer in the horseshoe spikes.
Be chucking them 50 yards.
The good thing about the bocce ball is easy because you have the Polino, the little white ball, right? So everyone gets colored matching two balls, right? There's like 8. You can play 8-player basically. You just take that white ball and you throw it out like 20, 30 feet in front of you, and then you just play. Like you have to roll the ball or throw your ball, and the closest person gets X points, and further away gets less points. So you don't have to like we would play at the park here by my kids' house, my house with my kid. Like the kids are playing basketball, and I would bring bocce ball out, and we would just like go to this giant field and throw the ball out, and just as a group of parents, we'd have 5 o'clock beer, we're sitting here drinking a beer and just walking around this giant field playing, bocce.
Just kind of throwing the white ball out there each
throw
time
the
it's like
white
a new
ball,
hole.
and whatever. And then when you get to that one, okay, throw it out again, and you basically just do a giant loop, from where you started, and you're done. So.
See, and I know that we're talking about it now, and for most people, it's starting to get cool and chilly outside, right? But for us in Florida, the weather is starting to get a little more temperate. Like now is the time to go outside.
Mm-hmm.
I know we have this hurricane that's nearby, so it's bringing a lot of humidity this last few days. Yes. So it's been a little stuffy out there. But normally in November, this is when I like to go outside and play and do stuff with the family because the weather is like bearable. Like it's not Africa hot.
Yeah.
That's the plans for the outdoor games. Thanks for the assist on the conversation there with the dexterity games.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Games that I've played. We'll talk a little bit about what I've played. Don't forget, phone lines open. 813-618-7099 is the number. First off, I got to play Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth. Battle for Middle-earth, I think it is.
So I've listened to I was saying right before we went live. I said I've caught up on like every podcast. So I think I've listened to like 40 podcasts in like the last week because the trip, it's an hour, half hour there, half hour back, twice a day. And oh my God, every single podcast talks about this game. How it's the greatest game ever, and replaces Seven Wonders Duel and replaces Seven Wonders, and it's amazing and it's thematic. What's Carlos's take?
I cannot disagree with that, right? Okay. But here's the feelings I have around this. Chester, before we move on, Chester says disc golf. Yeah. Disc golf's a big game for Rob and I. We played a lot of disc golf together with our families. It's a great way to walk around. It's just it requires that permanent course, so you can't like just take it anywhere. But it is a good. It is big in Florida.
Surprisingly, a lot of I didn't realize that disc golf was still such a thing, and apparently there's a ton of courses in Tampa Bay that I'm unaware of.
I think my favorite is for y'all in Florida in the Tampa Bay area, Limonia Park off over in Brandon. Just take the interstate. I think you get off like on MLK, and it's just up that way, and it's a beautiful park. It's a beautiful park, and they're all free to play in. That's the best part. These Hillsborough County parks are free to play in. Back to Seven Wonders. Well, no, Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle Earth.
Yes.
My feelings, right? So, man, the amount of videos that are coming out reviewing and how to play this game, and it's
crazy.
It's such a light, simple game that I cannot imagine putting together more than a 10-minute talking point on this game. It's good.
Right.
Which one do I like better? Like that's ultimately the answer or the question people are going to ask. I'm probably going to say with one play, I'm probably going to say Lord of the Rings has got Seven Wonders beat out for me right now.
It's the theme, right? I mean, so if it's
no,
No?
I don't even think the theme is important. The theme is important. Hello, Kyle Jeeves in the chat.
Kyle's he is Pacific Burner. We're talking about his crokinole.
Did Kyle ever get the board?
He did. He got his. Yeah.
Kyle put in for a crokinole board. Yeah, we were just talking crokinole. You missed it, Kyle.
We, him and I were like PMing through our Discord, like hemming and hawing. Like, all right, do we do it? Do we don't do it? Do we do this? And then when it was like, then after we backed it, that's when they came up with this elite board. It's like, well, do we upgrade to the elite? Which I'm glad I did because apparently, like, this squirrel. If you didn't follow
not a squirrel, we're calling back to what we were just talking about.
The campaign had like for the regular crokinole balls, then they had this option for elite. And they put in the orders at the same exact time to both factories, but apparently the regular factory that was doing just the old school boards, something happened, and a bunch of people got sick, and so they got delayed. So all the elite backers, or most of the elite backers, are getting their boards now, and all of the people who didn't upgrade to elite are like a month or so from now, or 2 months from now. So they're all like, "Oh, you're treating the elite people better." He's like, "No, like yes. I swear, I put it. Yeah, probably, but I put it in the order at the same time."
It's in the name. It's in the name, Wayne. Elite.
Yeah.
Mr. Jeeves says, Wayne and I at the same time. Mr. Jeeves says, I brought it to a local game night and people came up asking about the game. It was a hit. It always is. I figure being as far north as you are, like right across the water from Canada, y'all would be more versed with crokinole. Like, because I hear in New York, there's a lot of clubs in the state of New York, a lot of crokinole clubs up there.
Yeah.
So is it a popular game in the Chicago area, in the Chi-Town area, Kyle? Report back. Let us know. Is Canada Canada's, favorite game, crokinole. Is that on
I also
second
wonder,
to curling?
is it actually even like? I bet you if you ask 100 Canadians what crokinole is, how many Canadians actually know it, right? Or is it just a very small subset of Canadians that understand what crokinole is? Who knows?
And then
anyway,
we'll bring it back to the conversation here, right? No, this is important. This is the disclaimer, okay? This is the disclaimer. Hold on, let me find a little. Where's my? Yeah, I guess that's the closest camera I got is this one. Hey, folks, listen. When it comes to the Beans and Dice show, I'm ADD is all. So if you want to get the entire conversation on any one topic that we're going through, you got to listen to the whole episode because we're going to bounce around on that topic and throw other topics in between. So like if you want that whole Lord of the Rings duel convo, you got to start from the beginning because you're going to get chunks and pieces of it interspersed with other games. That's just how we do here at the Beans and Dice.
There you go.
Lord of the Rings duel, Battle for Middle Earth. I would say
the theme for you, huh? Just the gameplay.
I was just saying that it is so far with one play probably going to end up being my favorite, and it has to do with gameplay. Let's talk. Why? I was never a huge fan of the tug of war track, the military track. So when you buy red cards, you get swords. When you get swords, you can move the military tug of war track one way or the other. I always felt like as that thing got pushed real far to one side, it felt like I knew I would never be able to get that thing pushed back across center line. Right? I wasn't going to hit the 50-yard line ever again. It was all about just mitigating to prevent my city from being captured.
Right.
What it got replaced with is an area control board, and it's a map of Middle Earth, and there's 7 regions on this map of the 7 different areas, 7 different key areas, and you're vying for control of those areas by either putting a tower down, which is usually something that's going to stay permanently on there, or you're fighting for control with soldiers, and only one side can have presence of soldiers there, so you'll destroy units as you place units. That to me has this more variability, nebulousness. I'm not sure how to say it, Wayne. It's not as binary, right?
Yeah,
like there's
because it's not a tug of war. It's just this map, and
I can move. I can load up one place with a bunch of soldiers and then focus on moving them out to different areas, and then so it doesn't feel like I'm trapped as much. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. Yeah.
Kyle says what? With regards to Lord of the Rings duel, I hear that dropping the scoring and just having win conditions is a plus. And there's another aspect.
Yeah, I've heard that from like every podcaster saying that. Oh, that's good. Like I love it's just hear the win conditions. It's not if you play until you meet one of these win conditions and that's it, right? It's not a points thing at the end.
And that really just replaces it. The blue card system gets replaced with the ring track, which is really a race to points. So all they did was instead of saying, "Hey, I'm gonna win based on a number of points," right? I'm gonna have a number of points that's gonna dictate my win at the end of the game. It says if you can reach this number of points, you insta win, right? And I think I counted. I think it's 14. I think you need 14 rings captured in order to reach the end of your track. Once you reach the end of your track, it's an insta-win. Either you're Frodo and you drop the ring off at Mount Doom, or you're the Nazgul and you've caught up to Frodo and taken the ring, right? So it's one or the other. So it goes away, and that was the if no other win conditions are met, Seven Wonders Duel, if no other win conditions were met, then you look at how many points you have, how many blue cards you have. That went away. Now it's if you reach 14 rings, insta-win. So now the tiebreaker, so at the end, if at the end of 3 chapters, known as Ages in Seven Wonders Duel, nobody has had an instant win, it's now pushed to the map, the presence map up at the top. Mm-hmm. The military, which is the red cards. What I didn't like about the track at the top is I would spend all my energy fighting, getting red cards, building fortresses, right? Learning, getting chariots, getting barracks. These are the cards for Seven Wonders Duel.
Right.
And it always became a stalemate. It was very hard to break through that last little bit and break somebody's city walls down. Whereas now, all the effort I put into combat and war and building my armies matters, because if nobody gets a win on the green track, which is the progress in Seven Wonders Duel, known as Races Alliance in Lord of the Rings Duel, if nobody gets a green card win or a blue track win, which is the victory points, then it goes to whoever has the most presence, presence on that map.
Yeah.
So it kind of shifts it from just getting blue cards to be the winner to more themey. It's about the wars. Are you controlling more regions?
Right.
Feels good.
That's cool. Yeah. See, to me, I think that does speak to the theme of it, right? Too, is like, do you get rid of the ring? Do you not get rid of the ring? Then did they catch the ring? If they didn't catch the ring, then do you have where do you have how are you doing in the war? I gotta get a copy of this because I don't own Seven Wonders Duel. I play it mostly on BGA, and I really enjoy Seven Wonders Duel. But like everyone's saying, like you don't really need both. And if you're gonna get one, you might as well get the Lord of the Rings one because it's got that better sort of ending and it's thematic. So it gets you that Lord of the Rings feel in a 30-minute card game.
And what was interesting to me was the green cards, right? The green cards were the progress cards in Seven Wonders Duel. It's all about sciences, right? So you're learning new technologies, which are giving you long time, permanent bonuses like passive benefits or one-time effects. I was curious to see how they would do it in Lord of the Rings Duel. In Lord of the Rings Duel, what they did is they went with races. So like elves and dwarves and hobbits, humans and ents and wizards. And now you get an alliance token, and the alliance token is going to give you those passive benefits. And what's really cool is they're kind of themey in the sense so as an example, one of the progress tokens for the human is whenever you play a gold card, you also get a move on the ring track. Whenever you play a red card, you get to add an additional unit on the board. Right, so it's themey to the humans, the money, the military, the dwarves. They allow you to destroy or to build fortresses without extra cost. Right, they let you take extra turns. They let you double move your whenever you play a green card, you get to move 2 units. So they become themey to the race, and they did a good job with that. They very much did a good job with that.
And for the price point, like was it like $30?
Yeah,
can't beat that. Like that's like an insane price for a game that's getting such good hype. So
and remember, Seven Wonders Duel had a solo system, and right now it's I'm going to pull up my cameras here. It is print on demand. Wait, no, wrong camera. There you go. Print on demand. You print it from BTG, but they've got a solo style system for it.
Nice.
They're basing it off of the solo system that was created for Seven Wonders Duel. And what you do is you have to print out these cards. They're going to be character cards, so you can pick a character to play against, and they're going to have a different way that they want to play. So you can play against Smaug, you can play against Elrond, you can play against Saruman, right? So you got all these different characters, and they're all going to have different cards that they're going to want to favor as they take, and different abilities based on that character. And then the way the game works is each round you're going to be on the bad guy's turn flipping out these cards. So I printed these out, put them in sleeves on paper, and that's going to dictate to you the order of operation for that AI bot that round. So they're perfecting it. They're kind of getting it down pat, but it's going to be very similar to what was published during COVID for Seven Wonders Duel, where it has a really solid solo system. So I wanted to show that off, that is out there right now. I think they're in their second or third iteration of it.
That's pretty cool.
But it's I like solo gaming, and it's there. It's pretty cool.
You don't like solo gaming until you like solo gaming.
I don't ever play solo unless I do.
Unless you do.
So that's Seven Wonders, Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle Earth.
Nice. We've got Aaron Clark joining us back again. How you guys doing? Been a while.
Ohio in the chat.
I've been a little busy. He's asking us if we discussed the new Ethnos. Have you guys? Which we haven't yet.
No, we haven't discussed it yet. We've talked about it in our personal chat. We have a group chat for the folks on the show.
I think it was also got posted to general Discord too. Maybe I don't know. But
yeah, because it's starting to show up.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a valid point. I mean, he had Archaeo, but I think part of the reason why there's an Ethnos second edition is because Archaeo Society didn't hit like they thought it would. Like a lot of people it's almost like there's two camps. There's people who are like, oh, I like Archaeos Society because it does away with the board and this and that, and there's just the tracks or whatever. But it seems like a lot of the Ethnos fans were like, I'm not a fan of Archaeos Society. So it's like kind of polarizing from what I've seen.
I'm not familiar with that former chat or camp. I'm not really familiar with many people that say that they prefer Archaeos Society over Ethnos.
I think one or two of the Dice Tower people say they like it. I could be wrong, but I remember them having the conversations, and some of them were saying, "Well, I kind of like this, that it's no tracks or whatever." But I mean, it's really just not even the second edition though. It's really just updated artwork to the original Ethnos, from what I see. Right? It's not like from what I've seen, they haven't changed anything really from original Ethnos, right?
No, I think what they did is they added another faction, which I think is not even, I think above and beyond the fairies, they added a whole new faction. And then they just changed the artwork and the setting. So it went from a fantasy setting, which I was not opposed to. I'm sorry. I don't think I'm going to be, I'm not a poo-pooer of the artwork on the cards. I think it's very much a Tolkien-esque.
A little dull, though. I mean, the art was fine. It was a little dark.
Can we call it dark, not dull?
I think so. Muted.
It reminds me of like older Tolkien-style art, like 70s, 80s
Rankin and
renditions,
Bass, rotoscope version.
So it's not the best fantasy art, but I think it's serviceable. I think what bothered me the most with Ethnos in its original publication was the board and the control tokens. Like, that's where the disconnect really happened. The board and the control tokens just did not match at all with the dark, gritty kind of artwork on the cards.
Yeah.
But now they've gone way flip the script, right, Aaron? They've gone to super bright. And Wayne, help me out here. It feels like it's more of, I don't know if I'd call it Japanese or Chinese or like, where do you think the inspiration is for the world that they created using anthropomorphic creatures?
It's interesting. I'm going to pull it up real quick, see if we can find, it's Simon too, right?
That's like 4 pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. So the island is now star-shaped.
Right.
Which is, okay. Yeah. I like the longer board versus a square board. It was easier to get to the table, especially when you had a marketplace. You had a big marketplace of cards. Where are you going to put it when you got a big square board?
Yep. And it looks like the control pieces kind of look like the pagodas.
Pergolas. Pergolas? What do you call those?
Pagodas.
Pagodas. There we go. Pergolas are like little outdoor pavilions.
Yeah. But it does look like they're going with a little bit of an Asian anime-ish type look.
But I see like the dragon to me looks more like a Chinese style dragon. Am I wrong, or?
I mean, some sort of Asian culture type stuff, because you got to look at the hat on this dude, and you got like a panda looking guy over here with a hat.
It's very Asian inspired.
Yes, definitely.
So it's hard for me to nail down from where.
It's kind of like Kung Fu Panda meets like the Avatar.
Or what was that? Oh man, the Black Samurai. What was that cartoon?
Afro Samurai.
Afro Samurai, kind of anime artwork to it.
Yeah, and even look at the little pieces here, kind of look like shuriken or throwing stars.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, any popular game is going to get reprint after reprint now, right? Because it's just a way to make money, right? You know that there's a fan base of Ethnos that didn't like Archaeos Society. They want Ethnos. But I don't know if this is going to sell to some of that same group. Like, is it too bright? Is it too not the fantasy setting? Like, why couldn't they have just done the fantasy setting and update the artwork to the fantasy setting?
Is it a third rail now? Like, fantasy? Is it? Do they feel like it's overdone? Like, I feel like it's it's
everything's overdone
easy
at some
to
point,
do.
right? Yeah,
Right? Fantasy is easy to do, but there's nothing wrong with that.
right.
I don't know. Like it's
It would be almost like Small World, like today. Like you can remake Small World, but then don't use the fantasy creatures, right? Like
right.
why? You've got.
But why though?
Yeah, but why?
But why though?
So what Aaron says, he has Archaeo Society, and he gifted his copy of Ethnos. So that means he likes Archaeo Society because he.
Oh, so he's one of the few. There's always an exception that proves the rule.
The new art looks good, but it still doesn't quite feel right from what I saw. Yeah, it doesn't. I think Ethnos is a area control game set in a fantasy environment that
you're building war bands.
I don't think it needed to be changed, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
not like I'm
it could have used some sprucing up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I'm not a fan of Ethnos.
You cut me deep, bro.
I know. Sorry.
What player ranges have you played it at?
3 and 4, I think.
Okay. I've not found a player count that I did not enjoy. I've loved it. Yeah. It says best at 4, so you're right at that great world, cryptid small world that Chester.
Renaming of Small World. I just for some reason I played it 4 or 5 times now in person. 3 or 4 times in person, and I played it on BGA a few times. There's just something about it that doesn't hit me. Now I can see where people like it. Right? I'm not saying it's a bad game. It just doesn't hit for me. Like I'm not.
And it's not top 200. It's 313 overall. Radlands is better based on BGG.
Yeah, just garbage out of the top 200. No, I mean it's gotten a sequel and a reprint, and it's a good game, right? I can recognize that it's a good game. I don't do well at it, and it's like those games that are good, but you don't do well at it, so I don't like it, right? Like I was just not good at it, so I've never had a good game of Ethnos, so maybe
I've never had a bad game of Ethnos. Like I can say Ethnos has always been there, like satisfying.
Well, but I mean like good as in like you've won, and like I don't think I've ever.
I don't know if I win much.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe I'm missing something in the game.
There's that push your luck when you're trying to. You're like, how much farther can I go before that third dragon comes up? There's that the feeling of how many cards can I really collect before I do something with them, knowing that I'm gonna have to give up all these cards to someone else, and that can make their day, that can make their sets. Yeah. It's the variability of so many different factions, but you're only playing with a few.
Yeah, so I feel like I miss out when I'm playing Ethnos on, I'm drawing the cards to create these bands, but then I'm concentrating on that, and then I turn around and everyone else is like dominating the map, and I'm like, how did you guys get all this stuff on the map and I have nothing? Like,
and then you need more than they have to be able to put a token down.
Yeah, and it seems like if you miss the cadence of drawing the cards to playing, you can find yourself kind of behind an 8 ball pretty quick.
And then I love the variability of each region. Right, each game, those regions will all be different.
Like that. Yeah, different scoring. You move those little scoring markers around.
The 3 rounds of scoring.
Yep.
It's so cool, especially when you see a region that like it has no payoff in round 1 and 2, but then big payoff round 3. So it's like, how much do I invest in that region early game to try to lock it up for round 3? And there's so many decision points in that game. It's a good game, folks. Good game. All right, that was Ethnos. Definitely. Good conversation. Thank you, Aaron. He says, actually, I think I prefer Ethnos still. Just don't know if I need both, especially if my sister still has Ethnos.
So here's what you do, Aaron. You take your copy of Archaeo Society and you put it in a little bag. And, you go visit your sister. When she's not paying attention, you just switch them out. Put Archaeo Society where Ethnos is and take your Ethnos back. See if she realizes,
That's when you gaslight her. No, you always had Archaeos. I would have never given up Ethnos. What are you talking about?
Never that.
All right, some more Hall stuff. BGG Marketplace. What is that? Board Game Geek.
Something on Board Game Geek Marketplace.
Their accessories and stuff. They had a small sale on. I think it was cheap for this. This is Codenames Duet.
Nice.
Remember last week we had the conversation about duos, duets, duels. But they have the tokens in acrylic now. So they had a little sale on the acrylic tokens for the different agents that you're trying to hunt down. So I went ahead and got those replaced. I'm looking forward to getting this to the table again with wifey.
You already own duet. You just bought the upgrades. Okay,
so this is going to get this back to the table more. That's my hope.
Pretty cool.
They're acrylic, and it's not a sticker. It's more of a print onto the acrylic, but it replaces the cardboard shits. It was like a $10 upgrade.
They're a little marketplace. If you catch their sales right, they have some pretty cool stuff.
Especially when you're ordering something else. So like those compasses. So I felt like, oh, you know what? I can grab this for a few bucks while I'm up here.
Yeah.
That's a piece of the haul there that I got. Let's see what else we got here. Haul wise. Aha. First and Roll came in.
Ooh.
First and Roll is the replacement for First and Goal. So this is from R&R Games. This is a 2019 game, and it is a football game where you roll, pass, kick your way to victory, and it's almost like a little sim for football. And we're talking American football, Wayne, not the football you and your kids play.
Not the good stuff.
But what's cool about this game, folks, it's the magnetic board that actually comes with the game. So in this game, it comes with a board of a football field, or as Wayne would call it, a pitch. You can see here this token's not dropping because this entire board is a magnetic board, and that's a magnetic token, so the timer token sits up there. You get your little American football. Check that out, Wayne.
Nice.
Little American football. And I lost it. And it's gone. It's completely gone. Somewhere underneath the table. Completely lost the football. Live on camera. Lost that. Here's your yardage marker.
Nice.
Check that out. Sticks to the board. So you can measure your first downs and how far you have to go. So you see that there. You can do your yardage on it.
Not enough magnetic boards in gaming.
It's pretty cool because as everything moves around, you don't have to worry about accidentally knocking it around as much. It's much more sturdy, the ball, being able to get in the wrong place. So how is it played? It's played using dice. That's why it's called First and Roll instead of First and Goal. First and Goal was played with cards. You drew cards, and then depending on what each player drew would determine how the ball would move. In this game, Wayne, you would get, as a defensive player, you would get a set of dice of colors of green, red, and yellow. I will get a set of dice of green, red, and yellow as the offense. The red represents running plays. It goes between 2 and I think 5 yards on a running play. And then in a yellow die, which is considered a pass run play, goes between 0 and 10 yards, 0 being an incomplete pass. And then a full-on pass would be the green dice, and the green die goes from 0 to 15. These are all D6s. Now, what's cool is for the offensive player, the largest number on the die has a circle on it to represent what's called a breakaway. So you broke away, and it allows you to re-roll that die and add the number to the 15 again if it's like, for example, the passing die. So it has that exploding dice system where if you roll well, you can keep rolling well. What's going to happen, Wayne, is at the same time, we're going to decide what kind of play we're going to do. So if I'm going to do, let's say, a running play, I would hide the red die in my hand, and then you would decide how you would defend. And if you happen to pick the same color that I picked, you get to roll your dice along with mine. Your dice are all the same numbers as mine, but they're negatives. So you're going to take away from my yardage, whereas I'm going to be trying to get yardage. So it's that rock, paper, scissors style system where I'm going to pick a play style, and you're going to try to defend to that play style, and then we're going to roll dice to see how much yards the ball moves forward. You also roll a clock dice in there, and the clock die it's a D8, and it's got 3 clock symbols and 2 turnover symbols, and then 2 blanks. The clock symbols will move the clock on the board. That's going to dictate the end of the quarter or the half, and then again we line up for another half, and then end of the game, depending on how often the clock moves. The turnover die indicates that a possible turnover. You re-roll it, and if a T shows up again, the ball is turned over. It's a fumble. You get to pick it up. There's a lot of fumbles in this game, brother.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But we roll dice, we move the ball, we go to the next down. We got 4 downs to move the ball 10 yards. If you can do that, you get a first down. You get to do it again. You can't do it, you punt the ball away, or you go for a field goal. There are rules for running the clock. There are rules for throwing Hail Marys, for throwing long bombs, for punting. So all the football fun that you would have in watching football, you get to watch in this game. So I took it over to my uncle's house, taught him how to play the basics. Really enjoyed this game. He's excited about playing some more. So I'm really going to have to go find that magnetic football that I somehow lost underneath the table.
You have to get like an opposite magnet so it like sucks it up.
I don't know how I did that, Wayne. It just rolled right out of my hand.
So we got, let's go back, Chester, I would never, laughing at and then Aaron said, that's a great move. He's going to do it. You have to let us know if you're successful with the Ethnoscaper. Comment though, he says, Codenames Duet is the best version of Codenames.
I'm with Aaron on that one.
I have not played Codenames Duet, so I can't speak to that, although I do love some Codenames.
The twist for the duet, Wayne. The twist is instead of chasing a win, right? Trying to watch your opponent lose, right? Because you're on the other side. Here you're playing cooperatively, but you're looking at 2 different sides of the setup card. So you put the setup card vertically in front of you. What you see on your side with where the agents are and where the assassin is different than what I see on my side, but we're working together. So I'm trying to get you to find the locations that I want you to find without finding my assassin. You're doing the same, but your assassin's in a different place than my assassin.
Ooh, that's kind of tough. So, that seems tough.
It is, but you get nine fails, I think, before you lose. And then there's also a campaign built in there, so it's got like a world map, like a Carmen Sandiego-esque map of the world, where you're going at different regions of the world, and you need to get so many successes to be able to move from one region to the next. Nice. So it adds kind of a campaign flair.
I know Codenames has an app and a website that's supposedly really good. I wonder if you can play Duet on there, because like everyone, check that out. And they're saying because it's like you play online with people and CGE, and it's supposedly really, really good. Like I've heard a couple of different podcasts talk about the Codenames app, and there's challenges and all kinds of crazy things going on. So it's definitely an evergreen for them. So
last month was my birthday, and one of the things that I asked for my birthday and I got was Nexus Ops 3rd Edition to add to the club. Nexus Ops 3rd Edition by Renegade Games is really a redo of the 1st edition. And I wanted to kind of show off some of the cool bits that are in this game to show y'all the quality of the... Well, it's actually my first time opening it, Wayne. I am not wholly impressed with the quality of the boards.
A little thin.
Yeah, and it's that real glossy. Like I'm a big fan of linen finish, like cardstock. Like why couldn't this? This is almost like Avalon Hill.
Yeah.
It kind of has that feeling of the old Avalon Hill.
Any kind of overhead
stuff.
light's you have to like catch it at the right angle to be able to like see it.
And then the same with the tiles here. This is my first time getting into this, folks. You're watching me live here. I was really hoping for better. Here's the cardboard. You see it's not super thick. I really thought this was going to be almost like FFG quality levels. The FFG stuff you can see there's no texture.
Wow, look at that.
To the cardstock.
When you turn it in the light, you can't even see the card.
Yeah, this is... The artwork is updated, which is nice. So the artwork for like the fungus forest and the rock plains and the crystalline spires, that's been updated. That's nice. And the exploration tokens are all these cool like disc looking things. So okay, so that's okay. And then getting into the pieces. So now we're into the actual minis. I'm going to tell you this is exactly the same. This appears very much exactly the same as 1st edition. I don't see anything different other than the dragons are now on stands. So it's the same kind of coloration. It's hard to see on camera, because it's like a neon, like a bright neon color. It's hard to see on camera, but other than the dragon being on a stand, so it's elevated, that there really isn't a difference. So if you have first edition, this is the same. Now let's get to the cards. And wait, here we go. The rubium tokens. So the rubium, instead of being cardboard chits, they are now, those crystals that you find in a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? These plastic gems. That's what they are. So big ones are 5s, small ones are 1s. So that's an update.
Those look cool, at least. Those look kind of cool.
Yeah, that's a cool upgrade for the rubium. Let's open up these cards here. We'll get to that in a second because I think this is the biggest upgrade. This is the whole reason I was excited about this. This is now your center mount in the spire in the center. The little
3D printed.
Yep.
Injection molded.
No, it's actually just plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see any 3D print lines. And it's chunky. It's heavy too.
Yeah.
So the monolith in the center of the board is where dragons can go fly off of. You get extra cards for controlling it. It's always a cool place to be. In first edition, it had a little cardboard stand, and it was horrible. It just fell apart. It just never worked. In second edition, from Fantasy Flight Games, it was just a flat tile. And now in this new third edition, you get this really cool monument to be able to place on the board. And you actually have to place one of the cardboard tiles. Let me find it here. I don't know if you can see it, Wayne. There it is. So it's got a cardboard tile, and that's the monolith. It's double-sided because they added almost like a typhoon, like a swirl with random dice numbers. So I'm gonna look in the rules to see what that does. This is the whole reason I wanted this game. This here. All right, and I'm not very hopeful for the cards though, Wayne.
Based on the play mats and stuff like that, the cards are probably going to be just generic.
If they're just flat card stock, that's going to stink. I was kind of hoping for linen finish. It's not like I don't sleeve everything anyway. It's all going to get sleeves anyway.
You don't sleeve everything.
No, I don't. Yep. It's just, you can see let me get the light here. That's no texture whatsoever. And very plain.
Yeah. That seems like a bit of maybe a money grab, right? They spent all that money. They spent too much money on that one piece, so they had to
Yeah, that might be it. Throwing in this injection molded plastic mountain may have made it not feasible to upgrade to linen finish. They're thin too, Wayne. They're thin.
It's like the old Avalon Hill card games,
Yes, but the Avalon Hill one, the cards I think are thicker than this.
Oh, really?
Oh, we do have updated art though. That's nice. So we got here's some ideas of what the art looks like. Those are battle stimulant, adds +2 to your dice roll. Here's a gravity anomaly. You can see the artwork. So they got cool art. That's cool. These actually look like actual battles on an alien planet. They did a good job with this art that they put on the cards. That's cool. It's more thematic. Okay, mad props there. Artwork looks nice. Component quality, it's all about the mountain.
Yep.
There is a live unboxing of Nexus Ops 3rd edition from Renegade Games. Glad I have it because I love this game.
Nice.
No joke. Love this game.
So I got one game.
Ooh, what you got?
I got the Trekking the World 2nd edition.
Oh, I wanted to see that.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't have a cool camera like you, but
you don't have the multicam?
No, I don't. Yeah, the rule book.
All right, folks, donate Beans and Dice on Cash App, Beans and Dice on PayPal. Send us money so we can get Wayne a nice camera.
No, you got that cool globe-shaped board.
Yep. I remember that.
So a little threefold. From what I've seen, and it came with the sorting thing, and you got the
souvenirs,
much bigger So you got 5-player.
Show
But
that.
these,
Show the thickness of that.
oh yeah, big time.
Look at that. That see, come on, Renegade. That's thick.
It's dual layered, and you've got this whole storage solution. So I kind of show that you got that.
Oh, so they got a full-on plastic molded insert, vacuum molded.
It's got like these little dials. I need to look into how to play this.
I have first edition. We've played first edition.
Yep.
And it's very much a set collection, moving around the world to collect souvenirs, because there's souvenirs on. Yep, those are your souvenirs of different types. You're going to run around the board trying to collect different colors to fill your tracks. And I love the back of those cards because the front is beautiful artwork and the back is all facts and information about that location. It's great to watch and read.
This little the bucket list expansion. So it comes with an expansion with a bunch of, looks like some additional tokens. This game has these tokens. They come with 2 little bags of like already pre-punched tokens. So there's definitely some differences. I can't speak to the difference between first and second edition. I love underdog games, so I backed it without even really paying attention to.
Yeah, Kyle was asking if you played it yet, so that's a no.
It's a no. I have not played it yet. I don't even, like I said, I backed it. I own every game that the Underdog Games has done because of the educational factor of it. So when this came out, I just backed it without even paying attention to how to play it. I figured I'll learn it when I go. What'll be interesting is I don't know if I'll need to keep first edition if I play second edition. Like I'll need to kind of. My goal is to play. I'll play second edition a couple times and kind of make a decision. Like I'm not going to keep both.
You have both?
I have first edition, yeah.
But you haven't played it yet.
I played first edition. I enjoy it.
Oh, okay, you haven't played the second edition.
I haven't played the second edition. I just got here, yeah. So I'll play second edition a few times, hopefully this month, and see which one I like better. And whichever one I like better, I'll keep. The other one I'm just going to get rid of. I'll add it to my ever-growing Cull collection.
Got like I don't know what that is. Never heard of that.
You have a
what kind of stuff?
You have a sale coming up in 2 weeks, man. A week. Next weekend.
I have been looking around.
You got tons of games, man. You get rid of. Trust me.
And I got more on the way.
Yeah, but I own Her Story, Trekking to the World, Trekking Through History, Trekking the National Parks, and now the second edition of this. So we'll see. I don't see myself keeping both of them, but I'll see which one I like better. Supposedly this one is more gamery. But there isn't the blocking. I think the biggest complaint about the first one is you can block. You
yes.
Really, so I think this one eliminates.
And you have to move. So it's not like I'm just gonna sit here and wait. Like I have to move.
Yeah.
If I remember right, you have to move. And Rob being Rob, will do Rob things. That would just like.
Rob being Rob doing Rob things.
It's not family friendly. Yeah. Rob.
So we'll see. I still think. Trekking Through History is my favorite of the 4, and then I would do Trekking Through History, Trekking the Parks because it's a simpler game. My kid plays it real well, and then I would probably do The World and Her Story. Although Her Story is fun, it's just very simple. It's a little too simple, but
Her Story is.
Yeah, it's very very simple, but it's fun. Like again, I like the educational aspect of it, so. Being the educator and all.
I picked up the history one when there was a sale, and I still haven't got it to the table. I regret that I haven't. I know I enjoyed my play with you, and I know my family will like it if I can just get it to the table.
Yep.
Like that's the toughest part, get it to the table.
And I sort of fixed the, the biggest complaint that I think Rob and even I had about Trekking Through History is like when you play it with a full contingent of 4 players, those cards can come out pretty quickly, which is a good thing. But if you only play 2-player, those cards go out pretty slow. So when I played 2-player with my kid the last time, I kind of did a house rule where I said, like, every time we go, we always eliminate the furthest card to the right, like the cards flow to the right. So we always just eliminate that first card. So that sort of simulated having a 3rd player taking a card.
Yep.
And I definitely my English is horrible tonight. Do better. I enjoyed it better a 2-player doing that, like cycling through the cards a little bit faster, which it sort of we weren't always stuck having to start a new track because no cards there that we want, thing. And then I think it was in the is it maybe in Her Story? Yeah, in Her Story, there's a mechanism where it's like you're trying to write a 8-chapter book about like famous women, and there's a tableau just like in Trekking the History of all these women that you can draft their story. But you have like a library card where you can flip the library card over to wipe the tableau. I thought about doing that too, kind of like the atomic thing in Dune, and that makes sense. I think anytime you have a game where you have a tableau of cards you're drawing from, you run the risk of, depending on how it was shuffled or not shuffled or whatever, your tableau of face-up cards to choose from can be very stale. And I think any game that has that should have a mechanism to either cycle it, burn it, flip it, something. So
I don't think you should do both, but I think picking one.
Yeah, one of the two mechanisms. Either way to cycle it a little faster, or a way to burn it and start fresh. So,
and that is a problem of that mechanism in games, to the point where in the first expansion to Lost Ruins of Arnak, another game that has a marketplace, added the blood moon, so it's a red moon staff instead of a blue moon staff. Mm-hmm. And normally in a game of Arnak, when the moon phase occurs, you move the staff to the right, and then you fill in the gaps of cards.
And you get rid of a card on either side of it.
On either side of the moon. In the blood moon, you get rid of 2 cards.
Ooh, okay.
So 2 cards on either side of that, and that's what I played with Melissa when we did the Lost Ruins of Arnak missing expedition.
Nice.
Yep. So we did that. So because it really burns through those cards a lot faster and gives you more opportunity to see more of the deck, which is more opportunity to do actual comboing, actually deck building. So yeah, that's a great house rule. No culling.
Yes, call.
No need to call.
I actually downloaded my BGG collection, and
we were talking about that with Dan.
Yeah, well, you can download it to Excel, which I did, and then I 600 or 700 gig, because my BGG is up to date to everything I own, and so I went through and I deleted all the games that I know that I will never, or I'm not looking to call, right? And I was like, well, leave any game or expansion where I was like, maybe not, or I have 137 on my list now of games. So I'm like, I think I could go with, but possible call, but a lot of it's like expansions too. Like, I mean, I have so I have Cards Against Humanity, and then I have 9 expansion packs for it, right? So that's 9 of the 130 rows. So if you just did, I can sort by standalone game actually.
I have not kept my BGG up to date. I know I've given away a lot of stuff, but I haven't sold much. I've given away a lot.
57 expansions and 80 standalone games that I'm contemplating culling. Yeah, it's a lot.
No, I'm just going to keep adding. I'm going to try to help y'all add more. On this next one, this last one that I'll share as a haul item. I don't like where this conversation is going, Wayne.
It made you uncomfortable? Show me where. Show me on your BGG list where I made you uncomfortable there.
This is a copy of Bluey, Keepy Uppy.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
It's straight up. I know. It's my wife and I are just having so much fun being. Our daughter is now 3.
Oh, are you watching it?
Yes, all over it. So we're getting through everything, all the new mini episodes. They are such a relatable family, period. And I love how they teach parents how to play. A big part of that is they teach parents, how to play with your kids.
No dad can ever live up to that dad, though.
No way. No way. In this game here and the reason I bring it up is we got a lot of folks here with families. This is the Lupin Louie for kids 3, it says 4 and up, but my daughter's 3, and we have a blast playing this game. So it very much plays like Lupin Louie. You're going to have in the center of a mechanized base. There's a mechanized base in the center of the board. The base spins around, and it's got almost like a balancing arm on it, and that arm has a balloon that is in the air. And then around the board, this is anywhere between, check this out, Wayne, 2 and 3 players for this one. What they really got right in this game is, and I'm struggling to put it together here, what they really got right in this game is on the base, Wayne, it's hard to see, but you might be able to see it. It's got 4 adapters for the flapper arms so that you can configure it across the table from each other as a 1v1 or 3 players in a triangle form. So in a 3-spoke form. So that to me was innovative in this game because I've got Loop and Chewy, which is also 3 players, but Loop and Chewy doesn't have that extra nub on the base that allows it to play well at 2, which is kind of missing. So I thought this was innovative of them to create a 3-player and a 2-player mode.
Very nice.
Variant for this game. And what you're doing is you're moving, you're pressing go on this balloon. The balloon's going to fly around. And you've got these coins that are sitting on your base, and these coins are balloon pop coins. You got 3 of them, so every player has 3, and you're trying to keep this balloon from going by and hitting your coins and knocking them out. As it goes around, it's going to knock these coins down, as you saw on the screen here. And once you run out of coins, you're out of the game. So you're trying to hit this thing just right so that it lands on your opponent's balloons, and you're also saving your own. What's great about this version is it's perfect for kids, right? Loop and Chewy, Loop and Louie, it's a little tougher to get because the arm, the paddle that you're flapping to knock this object back into the air is very small, whereas here it's a 2.5-inch disc. So you got this nice wide disc, so my daughter, who's 3, can actually play along and keep this ball up in the air from hitting her balloons. This is a great, I think, intro if you're a Loop and Louie fan, Loop and Chewy fan, but you have small kids that struggle with it, or y'all had a lot of adult beverages and are struggling to keep up with either of those copies. This Loopin' Bluey, I love that. It's called Bluey Keepy Uppy Game, which is one of my daughter's favorite episodes of Bluey.
That is one of my favorite episodes as well. I love the Keepy Uppy episode. So Mr. Jeeves, Kyle saying that he wants to get this for his kids, but they don't like Bluey. First of all, trade your kids in because how do they not like Bluey? Come on. Bluey's a great.
Really? That I don't think I've heard anyone say that their kids weren't into Bluey.
I kind of wish my kid was a little younger because he kind of was already past that level of cartoon when Bluey blew up, I guess you could say. But I remember going over to our friend's house and they had a younger kid and they were watching Bluey, and I was they were. The adults other than me went to another room, and I was sitting there watching Bluey with the kid, and it was the episode where they're training the daughters to sleep in their own bed at night.
Oh gosh!
And they keep getting up and they go into the bed, and the one daughter kicks him right in the nuts, and he's like, "Oh, my biscuits!" And I was done. I was laughing hysterical because what ends up sleeping on the floor because the kids take over the bed and those. I mean that we did.
We've all been there. We've all been there. We've all had that situation with our.
Zoomed in.
You like that, right?
Yeah.
We got cameras, bro.
Yeah.
Get in there. Get in there. Get tight.
No,
get tight.
Come on. Oh God. But Kyle's asking, would you recommend the Bluey version or the Chewy version? Sounds like you would recommend the Bluey version if you have younger kids.
Yeah, I think Chewy to me, we would take to X-Wing tournaments. So when we were playing X-Wing back in the olden days, we would play Loop and Chewy between rounds because it still is Loop and Louie, but only 3-player. That's interesting.
I need to get a version of this because I went last Christmas. My kid got Beat the 8-Ball, which is the one where the ball's spinning around the center and you have to release your ball to beat it. But the problem is you have to play that 4-player. It doesn't play really less. You could, but it really doesn't work well at less than 4. So I this one, Loop and Bluey or Chewy would definitely, I think, work better.
And I was happy because I had Lupin Chewy and Lupin Louie. Lupin Louie can play 2 and 4 player, but it couldn't play 3 well because it was a cross configuration. When they brought in Chewy, that's a triangle configuration, so it played 3 well. So depending on how many players we had, I was able to provide a supply game that would do it. That's what I think is innovative about this one is the base allows you to go from either 2 or 3 players really well. Had they been, they could have did 4. They could have. I mean, but I know what it added to the price. But that big plate though for the older kids is not going to be fun. That 2.5-inch disc is going to be too easy for kids that are I'll say 7, 8, 9. That's just too easy. So any kid like under 7, Lupin Blue or Bluey Keepy Uppy, I think from 7 on, any of the Chewies or Lupin Louies would work. That's my recommendation.
Cool.
There's my haul. I think that's everything. All right. Yeah, well, yeah.
Not much because and like before the show. I mean, even before the show, and I've mentioned once is like I've had an opportunity to catch up on like every podcast I missed for like the last couple of months, and it's like, man, this is the slowest news cycle. I mean, we're post Essen, post Gen Con, kind of before the Christmas rush, but man, there's really no big board game stories right now.
There are releases out there.
Yeah,
right? And you're seeing a lot of reviews, but those to me aren't worthy of talking about. I tell you what, I did have a blast last week. I was listening back to our last week's episode. I'm getting the timestamps so that I can upload it with timestamps. And I'm also adding it to my blog on BGG. So I'm blogging it, the actual episode, with links to each of the games in BGG. But I was listening back to last week's episode, and I had so much fun with the top 10 that we went through, the top 10 list for that website, that I'm looking forward to doing that again soon. I definitely think that can be a rotation in the show where we go through somebody else's top 10 list. And I'm struggling for ideas for names. I'm thinking like, I don't know, top 10 teardown, top 10 trash talk, top 10 takedown, where we just take somebody's top 10 list and just like beat it up.
Unless it's really good, then we'd be like,
we're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Not worthy. That was a good list. But yeah, it was interesting. But that's, what's interesting. We have a friend that does kind of freelance writing for a lot of those like kind of nerd things like Nerdist and the blog posts and things like that. And like, it's interesting how they do it, right? So the way they explained it is like she was a freelancer for maybe not the Nerdist, but something like the Nerdist. And it was like you log into their website as the consultant or as the freelancer, and they'll be like, here are the 30 ideas we want, or 30 story topics that we want an article on, right? And you would just, and under each one, it had like how many words it had to be, or how long it needed to be, or when they wanted it by, and here was the price. And you could just claim it and like, I'm going to do that one, right? So it's like, this person may not know anything about board games, but they go, oh, I'll do a top 10 in this thing because, I have a week's work on it and they'll pay me $500 for it. So done, So it's like, I'm assuming it's similar, like some of those freelance writing stuff is not, you get people that are just grabbing a story to do it to make some money.
Yeah, because some of the games just, they don't jive, they don't match, they don't.
Yeah, well, and like the whole mechanism isn't really even a mechanism, and that's what's crazy to me. That I would think about that is like that actual mechanism that they talked about, engine building, isn't its own mechanism in the BGG like lexicon of game mechanisms. So the almighty Jeff Engelstein and his creation of this like etymology.
I like the old etymology. No,
etymology.
Yeah, the study of words. I really liked the old system better. Like, I don't know, the way they described mechanisms in the old way to me just was more intuitive.
Yeah, you have a game that lists 30 different mechanisms. Like, really? Like that's like 26 too many. Right. But I thought it was weird that engine building is not its own mechanism, but I guess engine building is kind of like a catch-all for maybe there's
these things combined would make it engine building.
Yeah.
What's the lexicon of jive? Says Chester Wilson.
Do you speak jive?
Great movie.
Oh god.
Little grandma shows up.
The one good thing about the last month and having a help to my mom is my brother actually spent almost the entire month of October down here, and I probably spent more time with him in that month than we had spent in, I don't know, 30 years, right? Because like we see, he lived in either New Jersey or Maryland. I've been down here, so we see him for a week and play golf and do a couple of things, but like we saw each other all day every day for like a month, and the two of us just quote movies left and right, like the amount of Mel Brooks movies and Airplane and just Blues Brothers and just every quote you could think of, and that was good.
It's funny. Rob and I are in a game of Sky Team on BGA Morgan Marina, and airplane quotes, airplane gifs, going at each other.
And a bad day to quit sniffing glue. That game is good, man. Like I gotta get back with Rob because him and I had a game going for probably several months where like we would play the game and immediately do another one, and we worked our way from like all the easy ones to the intermediate, and then we were on the hard ones.
Rob was almost complaining because I started with the first one, and he's like, "What do we? This is too simple. This is too simple.
It's too easy."
I'll tell you what. I started playing solo, and I'm stuck. Like I cannot seem to pass level 2.
Yeah.
On the solo games.
Wow. Yeah, we've there's a couple of that. Like I think 10 might be the most we played one board before we beat it. Like we played the same one 10
I'm
times.
on 5 fails right now of the second airport.
Yeesh.
It's still green. All it added was the traffic die.
Ooh.
Twice.
Jesus.
But with the solo variant, which you can find on BGG.
You play all one set and then the other set.
Well, what you do is you roll all the dice for the colored set. So whatever the color indicator is, the pilot is blue, the co-pilot is orange, whatever that color is, you roll all those dice and you place one. Then you roll one die of the other color. Okay. And then you have to place that die. So then you can kind of tell what your options are going to be for the pilot, for example. Like I know these are my options, this is where I'm headed. But then you're only one round at a time working with the co-pilot. You're only seeing that die once. So there's a lot of luck involved, but it's such a fast game. It doesn't matter. I've overshot the airport. Gosh, you know what sucks when you get all your flaps out and you can't go 2 spaces and then you accidentally slow down too far.
Oh yeah.
So you can never finish.
Yep.
You'll never reach the airport because all your flaps are deployed. You cannot go double speed.
I think the one that Rob and I had the most trouble with was, and it took me, like, we played it a bunch, and the first 3 times I did not realize there was like a wind board. There's a separate board, and it does your wind, and it's either plus or minus.
Yep.
And I wasn't comprehending that whatever that was on, it's going to add to or subtract from your speed. And so, like, I would play something in there, and it'd be +3. And we'd blow past the speed thing and crash. I'm like, why did we crash? What the? So it took me like a couple of games to like realize, oh, that's what that means.
Yeah, Rob and I did that one in person, and that was still in person. It was nice because I could be like, don't forget the windage, don't forget windage.
So, but there's one that's later on where it's wind and ice, and you have ice breaks, where like the pilot normally plays the brakes, right? Well, there's a second set where either the pilot or the co-pilot has a second set of brakes that has to be played. And in order to move the 2, you have to have 2 2s, 2 3s. Pairs. And so the top has to be the pilot and the bottom can be the pilot or the co-pilot, but you got to populate it in the same turn. So that with traffic, with the wind thing, you're like, oh my God.
So not only does it have to be pairs, but it has to be that turn.
Yeah.
It has to be a pair that turn.
That turn. Or else it didn't count. Yeah, it's tough. That was a really tough one. We eventually got it, but it took a while. So
Sky Team, it's a good game.
Yeah, it's a good game.
That solo variant, don't sleep on it. If you're a solo gamer, that Sky Team's a solo variant. You can print out a flight log from BGG, which I did, and it has every single airport, and you can record all of your successes and failures for each airport, which has each different a module that you can add to it to add its complexity. So I'm looking forward to going through that in the solo system.
Nice.
All right, well, that's it. That's going to get us to the end of this episode today. We will be back next week, hopefully to hear some stories from Rob. Hopefully we'll be back down. I think Mike is making his way back to Washington State. So I think his trip through Florida is gone. Wayne, did you make it to the game day?
I did not.
Okay, I was hoping to hear stories from game day this week.
That'll have to be Rob next week when he gets back. But yeah, I heard it was really good. I'm looking forward. I'm definitely gonna make the next one. But yeah, October was just a month of no fun. But hopefully, and we got to start talking about Christmas or winter, however you choose to celebrate. And trying to do a real big giveaway white elephant thing this year, because
I think is it 2 weeks we'll be at the flea market?
Yeah, so that'd be fun.
All right, folks, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Wayne.
We're the Beans and Dice Podcast. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you all on the next one.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe.